Long about here, I reckon we need to talk about why making liquor is illegal. It's because of the government tax. Now let's say I want to make a gallon of liquor and I want to sell it legal. Then I have to pay the government tax, $1.25 a gallon. Well, what do I charge? Let's say I want to make 50 cents. Well, that brings the total to $1.75 a gallon. $1.25 for the government and 50 cents for me. Now that don't seem fair, does it? I mean, what did the government contribute? They never raised the corn, they never shucked the corn, they never helped convert it into liquor, and they never tended the still. No, all they done was give me a stamp. Short and long of it is, making moonshine's illegal because it's competing with the government. So, me and Amos had a thriving business, but we knowed it couldn't last. We heard there's a bunch of federal agents had been sent out to scare the countryside between North Carolina and South Carolina line. And what a sorry bunch they was too. Them rascals actually got paid by the arrest. Let's say they arrest 12 men and take them in, and the court only finds 2 of them guilty. They still get paid for 12. They arrested my daddy in church on Sunday. Matter of fact, they arrested every man in church that Sunday. Most of them was turned loose, but not my daddy. He was old and sickly. He died in prison down in Greenville. A couple of weeks after that, me and Amos was making a delivery up in Brevard. Out from behind a tree steps Al Duckworth, Deputy Sheriff of Transylvania County. Al was a pretty good feller. I'd knowed him all my life. He said, "I'm sorry about this old house." He said, "Come on down. Let me search your wagon." He said, "Give me your pistol if you got one." Well, I never said so. I turned around and started climbing out of the wagon. Well, I looked up at Amos. He shook his head, just stared down into his coat pocket that hung open like a stove door. There in the bottom of it was one of the pistols, a little cheap gun called an owl's head. I was reached in, cocked it, turned and fired. Hit Al in the throat. I seen his collar button vanished. Blood just wailed out. He looked surprised, sat down in the road. And I started climbing back in the wagon and I heard something. And I turned around and he said he wanted some water. At least that's what I think he said. And I found a tin cup and I run up the road to the spring. When I poured that water in his mouth, it just run right out that hole in his throat. Amos drugged me up in the wagon. We rode off. I just turned and looked at Al sitting there in the road. "Well, we're in for it now," Amos said. "There'll be 100 of them damned agents on the road by dark. What are we gonna do?" I said. He didn't say nothing for a long time. Then he said, "I reckon we'll go to dark corners